There was once a time when debt was treated as something dangerous. People borrowed carefully. Owing money carried emotional weight. Debt was often seen as temporary, not a permanent condition of adult life. Today, that mindset has completely changed. Modern life quietly normalized debt so deeply that millions of people now see owing money as ordinary. Student loans, credit cards, car payments, mortgages, subscriptions, monthly financing, entire lives are now built around continuous payments. And perhaps the most unsettling part is this. Many people no longer ask whether debt is normal. They only ask whether their debt is manageable. Part of the reason debt became so widespread is because modern life itself became increasingly expensive to maintain. Housing prices exploded, education became costly, healthcare became expensive, basic living costs kept rising. Meanwhile, wages often failed to grow at the same pace, so debt slowly transformed from emergency support into a survival tool. This created a dangerous psychological shift. People stopped borrowing mainly for exceptional situations. They began borrowing simply to maintain ordinary life. Modern economies also encourage this behavior aggressively. Banks profit from loans. Credit card companies profit from interest. Corporations profit when consumers spend beyond what they currently possess. And because debt fuels consumption, modern systems often make borrowing feel convenient, normal, and even necessary. This is why people are constantly encouraged to finance purchases, split payments, buy now and pay later. Debt is no longer presented as financial danger. It is presented as accessibility. Technology made this even easier. People can now accumulate debt instantly through phones with almost no emotional friction. A few clicks, a monthly payment, another financial obligation added quietly in the background. And because modern debt often arrives gradually rather than dramatically, many people barely notice how financially dependent they are becoming over time. Consumer culture intensifies this pressure further. Modern society constantly encourages people to upgrade. Homes, phones, lifestyles, appearances, and social media continuously exposes individuals to images of luxury and success. This creates psychological pressure to maintain lifestyles that often exceed actual financial reality. As a result, debt increasingly becomes emotional. People borrow not only for survival, but to maintain identity, appearance, and social belonging. Perhaps this is why financial anxiety feels so widespread today. Millions of people are not only working to live, they are working to service debt. Every month begins with obligations already waiting: rent, loans, subscriptions, interest payments. And because financial pressure rarely disappears completely, many people live in a constant state of low-level stress. The emotional consequences are enormous. Debt changes how people think about work, risk, freedom, future decisions. A person buried in financial obligations often cannot easily leave stressful jobs, take creative risks, slow down, rest psychologically. Debt quietly reduces flexibility, and over time, many people begin feeling trapped inside systems they can never fully escape. Perhaps this is why modern adulthood increasingly feels exhausting, not because people are weak, but because many are carrying invisible financial pressure every single day. And perhaps the most disturbing part is this: entire generations are entering adulthood already owing money before their lives have even fully begun. This does not mean debt is always evil. Used carefully, borrowing can sometimes help people build businesses, education, or opportunities. The real danger appears when debt stops being occasional and becomes the foundation of ordinary life itself. Because once entire societies depend on continuous borrowing to maintain stability, something changes psychologically. People stop building slowly. They start surviving financially month by month. And perhaps that is the quiet truth modern economies rarely admit openly. Debt became normal, not because human beings suddenly became irresponsible, but because modern life increasingly became difficult to afford without it.